But everything does come to an end, right? We uh we always have the end of an era to something, and unfortunately, Rooster Teeth getting shut down. There's so much in the past 21 years, but I've never been a huge Rooster Teeth person. I only got into them in the past few years, besides Death Battle, which is also something that is getting shopped around, along with Ruby and Genlock, and I believe Red and Blue as well. Those are the like 3, 4 properties that are getting shopped around because Warner Brothers like, you don't make us no money, but like a whole bunch of like people that enjoy Ruby got like into Justice League, or Justice League that got into Ruby. So it's like, why do this if the plan was to never continue it?
Money.
Yeah, they
Yep.
thought they was gonna make money off of it, more than they thought, and then they ain't make the money that they thought they was gonna profit off of it. So they like, you know what, we're gonna go a different direction. So we're gonna do this real quick, Rooster. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's so let me pull up the specific thing about it. So I wonder if it says when specifically they got bought out, because I want to double check that first before I say it. Doo-doo-doo. So for the past 10 years, Rooster Teeth has been owned by Otter Media, which is a joint venture with AT&T. And yet somehow, someway, for 10 years, their most like talked about thing is probably gonna be Genlock, right next to Ruby and Blue, Red versus Blue. I don't know, man. I think I'm more disappointed because finally, when Ruby was going in a great direction, like we could see it go to fruition, it just said nah, and then it ended. Like I'm so disappointed because like a couple years ago, Sage and Juju got me into it, so I started watching it. I binged it, and then I just stayed caught up with it. And there's a drop in like what Ruby does from the first 3 seasons onward until the very last volume, season, whatever you want to call it. I'm disappointed. I've been disappointed, and I guess I'm only going to continue to be more disappointed.
Yeah, it's hard to like. I felt bad because I didn't even see this coming. I was like, "This is peak." Like, no, bro, this is peak. And I remember, I was like, "You got to hop on the wave," and now it's just like, well, what is this?
Well, you have to remember the first 3 seasons with like Monty Ohms. He did a lot of shit off the book, without getting paid, and then everyone's like, "Nah, we want to get paid," but yet y'all still produce like mediocre shit. Like nothing mediocre should last that long. I'm looking at you, Grey's Anatomy. I just,
Yeah. Dang, that's my sister's show right there.
I don't care. You 10 years. I'm looking at you too, Supernatural.
Oh, it's not.
They went
I ain't gonna
15
make.
seasons. They should have been done. I know people that have watched the show multiple times, and they're like, it's really in between season 5 and when the like just before the Angels came down, because they always ended it with like a kind of open ended thing when they needed to get renewed. And that's like another thing too. If like you have a very popular show, you should not be every season having to renew them. You should renew them for 2 seasons, so that way they can flesh through a story without having to leave like a super open ended thing, hoping for that they get picked up. Because if not, you just leave on some random open ended thing.
Hmm.
But that's, I mean, I
I get it. It's like, all right, so uh, I say the opposite because like there's shows that are good that people be looking into that gets canceled. Like for instance,
mm,
I like Power. I love Power. I love the Power series, Power Ghost, the Rising and Kanan, Force. People could include BMF when I tell people BMF is their own thing, their own
mm-hmm.
show. It's just produced by 50 Cent. But I like the 50 Cent universe because that's a good universe because he always have something to add on. It's
Yeah.
crazy that they got renewed, like the Power Ghost got renewed for a fourth season. And right when we was excited for season 4, because everybody was lit up for season 3. Now we looking forward to season 4. We find out that after season 4 comes, that's the last season. The series over. Like, hold on. Like, how you gonna hit us with that? It's getting good. Everybody's in tune. This the third season. The third season went off with a bang. Now y'all telling us after the fourth season, y'all done? Like, what did we do? What did we do? Like, some of us like the stuff that wants to keep going on because it always we want to see what's gonna happen next, and it don't get repetitive a lot. So when we see that they cancel the shows that actually do something for us, but then when you got shows like you said, Grey's Anatomy, Supernatural, my case, Law and Order. I'm like,
Hold up
how
now.
do y'all
Hold the front. Law, no, like regular Law and Order or Law and Order SVU.
like, any of them? Like,
Damn.
it's just like, okay, y'all telling me what's going on. Like I'm already seeing this in the real world. Do I need to watch this in the show? I don't want to know what people have. Like, y'all giving me the criminal mindset of people like, all right, I got to take care of him when I see him in real life. Nah, you ain't going to be beating on people and then leaving their bodies in the middle of the forest or in the trees with the next to the playground and have me feeling sad. No, I don't want to see that.
I'm not gonna lie. I normally like hate Criminal Minds is probably like one of my favorite shows when it comes to like those detective cop things. That one and Monk are like my two favorite, but like Monk ended.
Monk. I love Monk.
And then they like decided to make a 2-hour movie. I'm like, why? The show's been dead for like 10 years easily. Like, why are we doing this? Like, it had a nice proper ending, and the ending of it is like, oh, I actually had the knowledge to get my wife's killer years ago, but I just didn't want to touch it because I didn't want to ruin her memory. But like the evidence was inside of my house. I'm like, damn, bro. 5 seasons of this shit. There's a mystery. Does it get me closer to my wife? Huh? That one, I think it's like White Collar, something like that. White Collar Blue, something like that. Where it's a convict that ends up working for the FBI. He helps him like solve some like counterfeit cases. Really good storytelling, great acting, and they ended it on the 5th or 6th season because instead of Neil Caffrey getting released from prison, they're like, oh no, we're gonna extend his prison sentence so that he can continue to work for us because like we want him to continue. And then he's like, the dude, like his handler is like, but that's wrong, like he's finished. Like the best we should do is offer him a job as like a consultant or something, because like we can put the bad guys away, he can have his freedom, he can do what he wants, like, you know. But so, and then like, you know, he faked his own death and then he moved to like Italy or some shit, which is sad. But it's better than like, you know, a show going on running and say, yeah, no, we're giving you a story which doesn't make any sense with unnecessary trauma in it. Like to this day, I don't know why they keep on killing Penny. The obviously like she's supposed to like reference a Pinocchio to be like, I want to be a real boy, but she's an android, so it's like, I want to be a real girl. And then she becomes a real girl and then she dies again, bro. And I'm like,
see, that'd be heartbroken to me when they finally get to see stuff and you see like the joy of them wanting to be or something want to be, and then you just take it away. Like, man, you know what was the point of doing it in the first place? Y'all should have just kept it. Now I gotta have heat for you and whoever wrote for this scene and everything. Who wrote this show? Jordan did Spectacular. I don't like you no more, Jordan the Spectacular.
So have you seen RWBY by the way?
I think I have.
Okay.
I can't remember.
each volume has like a set amount of episodes, and they're less than like 20 minutes. On average, they're less than 20
I'm gonna check.
minutes. Some of them are like 12 minutes, 8 minutes, especially like early on. So in reality, it's like the first 3 seasons is like a few hours at most, instead of 20 something hours. But that's besides the point. So there's a character. I loved this character. I was like, yo, like, she's someone that has fame, some fortune, but she's like, I hate that shit. Like, I'd rather be a country girl, but because of, like, my abilities, everyone knows who I am. So like, I don't want to be here, but I am here.
Oh, you're talking about her.
Pira, I believe her thing is, yo, I was like, yo, I love her. Like, I love this character type. I love, like, I see her going the distance. Let's go. And then we find the idiot John, and like, he kind of has a crush on her, and she kind of has a crush on him.
You're talking about
And then
her.
and then at the end of season 3, she makes the ultimate sacrifice so the team can get away. And I'm like, but why? She could have left. She's like, I'm a hero though. I'm a hunter, so I'm gonna do what I can so y'all can leave. I'm a fight the good fight. And it's like, I was given PTSD. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, JJK does that shit all the time too. But I'm just like, why do we have to kill her? Like, what plot point does this? What purpose does this serve? Like, overall, what purpose does it serve? So like, why are we just constantly like doing these unnecessary deaths, or like these things? Well, it's so like, it's the author, an indie artist that like an indie manga artist that I interviewed a couple weeks ago to like a couple months ago. He's like, oh, well, it's like, you're still talking about it. Like, it's emotional damage for a reason. Yeah, but like, what overall purpose does it serve? Besides some PTSD and a character that we could have right now that could help pull some goddamn weight, instead of, oh no, she died. No, she's not important enough. I just don't. Just that shit bothers me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I understand. Certain thing bother. I get it. I definitely get it. And when it comes to Rufus' teeth, the one thing I really liked was the death battle.
Mm.
The death battle ones. Like, my little brother got me into it. It was the same time I learned about death battle. The same time I learned about Dragon Ball Bridge. My
Oh my
little brother was
god.
watching. And he was because like in his room, he had it set up just like my setup. He had a computer, and then he had his game next to his computer. So when he be playing the game, he'll watch stuff on the internet, on YouTube, and a lot of YouTube videos will be death battles. So one day we was watching. I think this is the first time I learned about guts. Like,
Mm.
like I heard about the Berserker story, and my brother used to watch it, and I didn't understand it. But then when I learned about Guts, when he faced Nightmare from Soul Calibur, I was like, oh, this man is really about it. Like, when I heard his story, like, he was born from a dead hooker, and he was raised by basically pirates and savages, and had to learn as a kid to be tough. And then that man was
So this
like,
is like real recent. Dude, the episode 7 months. Oh damn, bro.
no,
Dumb.
that was older than that. No, it was way older than that. That video was like old.
I'm literally
I
just
don't know.
scrolling
It was
down,
like
and
a
then
good
I see
decade.
Guts versus Dimitri from Fire Emblem.
Oh, that must be new. That must be the new one, because
Yeah.
the one I seen was with Ghost versus Nightmare from Soul Calibur.
Mm.
So that
Okay.
was like, so that was the one I knew. Um, and when I learned a good deal about that battle, which made me want to debate, because every time I see him, I'm like, all right, let me go ahead and do some calculation. Like, when they always talk about Superman versus Goku, Superman gonna win against Goku, and then in reality, as a Goku fan, rest in peace Toriyama. I love the fact that I want to see Goku beat Superman, but knowing the fact that Superman has been here longer, has more comic books, more stories, more revealing of his powers, and more growth of his powers over the years, over the decades, over a century.
Yeah.
Century. You feel me? So you talk about Goku, me, technically, if we want to be honest, if we going by Dragon Ball, the Goku there, the young Goku, he's like shit, 3 years older than me. But if we talking Dragon Ball Z, me and Dragon Balls, I was born the same year Dragon Ball Z was on the air. Like
Oh shit.
I basically grew up. Like Goku birthday is the same birthday as mine, April 18th. So we
Happy early birthday,
basically,
by the way.
Hey,
thank you. We basically grew up together. Like we about to be 35 years old. Like shit, we gonna be old as shit. But you see that Goku has grown, but not has grown, and he is still growing. Even though we have the creator that's died, we still got his legacy that can still goes on, and we can
Mm.
see what his possibility goes in the future to the point where he get to a part where Superman is literally weaker. They can make that, but they literally building him up just like they build up Superman. It would have been easier to say, "Oh, Goku can punch a hole in a fucking universe and suck it in like Boo." He didn't face somebody like Boo that literally destroyed a whole galaxy, went to
for no
heaven,
reason.
and gave the smoke in the afterlife. Like that man beat him. So he has feats that Goku can sit there and stand on where I could be like, oh yeah, this and that and the third. Oh yeah, well Goku. But at the reality, I sit there and say, well, Superman has done some too. Like this man can literally fly to one side of the universe to the other in seconds. This man could be on a whole different side of a galaxy and far away. And if he even sits that Lois in trouble, he there in minutes. So it's like I can't argue with that. I can't argue that man fast. But the one thing I could hit you with is Superman don't know how to fight for real. That man know how to throw a good punch,
A left
a
hook,
nice
right
kick,
hook, left hook, right hook.
and then he'll do a kick, and then he'll blow his breath. Goku knows how to fight since he was a boy, since he was a baby, since he came out that pod. That man was about to destroy the earth. He comes with a sense of knowing how to fight because he comes from a warrior. I mean, a race full of warriors. So you sit there and you think about the possibilities of both. So you see they pros and cons. So I add up the pros and cons. If we say, oh, take away both their powers, straight hands, Goku winning.
Oh, easily. But because of all the abilities, all the everything, right? As the what's his name? All the solar rays that Superman absorbs, he gets stronger. And like there are time like when you think of a like final attack, right? Where Vegeta did it to Vegeta did it to Boo, Chatsu did it to Nappa, and I think one other person did it. I just forget who else. But it's like they kind of self-destruct.
Mm-hmm.
If Superman were to do that, he like power-wise, he'd destroy the universe. Goku, probably the same thing, but he wouldn't do that. So it's like, just like you said, over the years, there's been so many different people that have written for Superman. There's just so much more story to pull from. And when you say canon, all
Mm-hmm.
right, canon to what universe specifically? Because every universe has their own canon. Where Goku is just Goku by Akira Toriyama, just like RWBY is by basically Monty Ohms. Um, and then there's like all these other animes like Tower of God, Hunter x Hunter, Yu Yu Hakusho. They're all that's where like the main difference of comics versus manga, because manga is just done by one person, where comics are smaller issues, smaller runs, smaller stories, but more people have the opportunity to pen a story for it.
Exactly. And that's why I was sitting there looking at like All right, let's sit here and think about this. Really, really sit here and think about the the um the conversations that we have when it comes to this, like the durability or the stuff that is simple. Because like like even with Superman, like I said, when you take away his powers, look at what Doomsday did to him. He
Mm,
waited till it got dark at night, pulled up on Superman, and Superman couldn't do. And ended up what? Dying, right?
Oh,
He had to fight this man at night. So don't sit there and act like Superman don't have no weakness. Pull magic, like, oh, they just now um got him to where he ain't that weak to magic, but that man was weak at magic.
yeah.
Like, if I pulled up a story right now, like we could pull up, I like the Injustice story because the Injustice story is my favorite. If we and I know that's a different Superman, but if we talk about that Superman, he needed Batman. He needed, I think, not Batman. He needed I think it was Shazam, or he needed
Yeah.
somebody's help. He needed somebody's help to.
Shazam, Zatanna, Doctor Fate, Etrigan.
I think it was Doctor. I think it was Doctor Fate because Zatanna was on Batman's side,
Mm,
and they was hiding Raven from Batman. I mean, from Superman, and this is why I hate Injustice did not add this man yet. Constantine played a big part in this motherfucker. Like
mm,
most people don't know, Constantine literally had the House of Illusion and put Raven in that house. And then because the house is magic and it can move around anywhere at any point in time, Superman can't find it. Superman couldn't find it at all. So he had to get somebody to help him. The moment they got close, that's when Constantine was like, all right, let's go over here. But the thing about Constantine is he have his own agendas every time he help out somebody. Like, he got to see what it benefits him if I help you out. So, but back to what I was saying, Superman, if he has his weakness, and we can be like, all right, we take that into a factor. Let's say the weakness he has is magic, and Kai's and Kamehameha ways are considered magic type moves.
mm. Yeah, it's like a whole debate. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, bro. That's
I know how to bring it to the medium because I know both of these characters. And then when people ask me about, oh, you don't know this character, you don't read the comic books, man, I'm 35 years old, man. I've been reading
I'm
comic books
old,
and watching
Yusuke.
anime and playing video games before everybody thought it was popular.
yeah.
Nah, whenever someone like asks me something like really stupid, because like whenever I go to the gym, I always have like a anime thing, something on, and someone's like, "Oh, do you like whatever it is?" And it's some dumb show I don't like. I'm like, "Yo, I'm old, Yusuke." And if they don't get the reference, I'm like, "You are too young for me. Back away. We aren't having this conversation." Like I'll have any conversation, but like if you don't get the best meme, it's like, oh, I'm too old for the shit, or like, oh, I'm tired, whatever, right? Well, there's also I could do this all day, but the to me the first like most pivotal one is I think it's Genkai, the old lady from Yu Yu Hakusho, where she's like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm old Yusuke. I'm like, yo, young kids ask me dumb shit. I'm old Yusuke. Like I ain't got time for this. Like don't try and tempt me. Don't try and try me. Like I'll make you feel stupid for a second. Don't get me wrong. I'll be happy about it because I'm making you feel stupid for a second. Um, but there's like a clear, like where we are right now in media, right, with all the games and whatnot, you can see where things have come from, where they've gone, and it's like we have to pay the respect to those that came before us, right? Those that set the ground, set the pace running. Because when Akira died, I was like, really? Like, is this a joke? But immediately I started seeing like that was all I was seeing on every social media I was going to. That's all I was seeing was boom, 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 boom. I'm like, yo, what? Boom, boom, boom. The cartels did a
Like,
ceasefire, temporary ceasefire because he died. I'm like, oh shit, this is
yeah.
real.
You know how big this is? This was so big that NBA players started showing love on it. Doing
Ain't no
wrestlers
fucking
was
way.
doing fusion dance and everything. Like
Really?
that's how impactful you could say somebody like if you could impact people global like that. Like only person I know that's in my generation that did that around that time was Biggie and Tupac for real. Like that's the type of impact that people had. Like the whole world said. Everybody like, yo, like it, but you still have people that say, well, if it wasn't for like that was like, well, yo, leader has died. Y'all can't. I remember I seen somebody on TikTok, I mean on Facebook, made a joke saying, well, at least we know we can't bring what the Dragon Balls can't bring back to this world. And I said, well, if just know that person that we can't bang back, if it wasn't for him, you won't be sitting there watching anime of your favorite show.
Yeah. I don't know. It was seeing those like those comments from all the other manga authors like Blue Lock, Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, like a whole bunch of other ones. They were like Sensei, like I forget which one it was. Um, I think it was the author of One Piece, and there was like one other author that they're
Odin is
like,
hurt.
oh yeah, yeah.
He's Odin is hurt. My friend said they didn't get a new chapter or something from One Piece this week or something. The week he passed away, so that man is really hurt.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, like everyone else is calling him Sensei, but he's the one that was like, nah, this is my brother. Like this is like the reason I got into it was because of him. Like we're close enough in age that like I see him like as a like an older brother, not Sensei. Like he inspired all of you guys, and you're a different generation. But he's like my brother, and I'm like, yo, like that shit, it has to hurt because and we did a episode like about 2 years ago with As It Enzi, and he
Mm-hmm.
like the whole episode was about what's the most iconic piece of media, right? Where we got into like Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball, but it's like at the end they were like, we think it's Dragon Ball. And when you look at it, I don't think like if the author of Sailor Moon were to die, would it have that big of an impact? Probably not. I can't say yes or no. I'm not gonna go and like unalive the creator of Sailor Moon just to like prove a point. But this thing is globally. It's all walks of life, and it's understanding. It's not who you are, but it's what you do, and it's how like you touch all the lives that you come across, and that's what makes you a legend.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So when we talk about these situations, that's why I'm like saying like people gotta respect the level of every artist that has made a show right now. It don't matter who's better. Like like we always turn it into a big competition when it's probably even friendly to them. They don't care.
Yeah,
Like, oh, my show did good this week. Oh, my show did great this week. Oh, my show did all right. Like, and they sit there still just joking about it, and they probably giving each other hints on how to make their show better. Like I do this for my show, maybe you should try this. Or I do this for my character to where he can develop. Maybe you can follow a little something after that. And like actually give advice and actually want to see each other succeed no matter how fast that person come out. And that's the problem with every I think that's one of the problems that we have as a generation that we don't see that a lot of people will make sure even as a legend like Toriyama, um, he make it to the where like, oh, I'll show you this, I'll teach you this. This how you do this. This how you do that. I want to see you succeed. If you have any questions, call me. If you have any concerns, you know what I'm saying? Because I can't be the only one doing this by myself. It can't be one person.
yeah,
Like it wasn't a Michael Jordan. It wasn't a Kobe Bryant. It was a Dr. J. Moses Malone, Bill Russell, all the way to Jerry West. It was somebody that started the career of everybody looking at legends or wanted to be that legends. That's why everybody like, oh, I like this guy. I like this guy. I like this guy. Well, I can't do it by myself. I'm gonna get old, so I'm gonna need somebody in the younger generation. The old generation knows how to pass down the younger generation.
Yeah.
Pass down they stick when it's time. LeBron is doing that right now. I watched LeBron
LeBron
when
is
he was
old as hell.
yeah,
He
and he been in
old.
the league longer than like he almost in the same round as Kobe was, but he was longer than Michael Jordan. I gotta look up how Dr. J and them when they retired, but Bill Russell became a coach, so I'm hoping that LeBron does that. LeBron said he want to play 1 year in the league with his son, and after he does that, he's done. He's finished. He ready to retire. He got his rings. He got his championship. He's the top scorer in the league. He got history. He made it. He don't have to do much more. Now you got these young bulls. Even Stephon Curry getting close to that age. Kevin Durant. Uh Westbrook. All of them. They get into that age where it's like, all right, it's time to sit back and let these young bulls come in and take over.
Yeah. I'm not huge into sports, but to like kind of piggyback off that, like Tom Brady, bro. I live in New England. I ain't saying what state specifically. But like the Patriots, they were my team, still are my team, but I just can't. Bro, Tom Brady's like win lose ratio was like he had more wins than losses. I think it was like a 8-1 ratio, 8 wins, 1 loss. But like for all the games that he did, because he lost at home, I think it was total like 12 times.
Right.
Where all these new quarterbacks, it's like, oh, you're losing half the season in a year. Like who gonna tell you like, yeah, you're not gonna be great, but like you have such a high standard to fill the shoes for. Can you really fill them? And then it's like, oh, the players are bad. I'm like, no, the coach has been bad all this time, but no one says anything because we've been winning under that coach. Like,
Right.
yeah, he could be great or anything, but him staying so long after Tom Brady, people realize what I said the year after Brady left. It's the coach. It's not Brady. It's the coach. Trust me, it's the coach, because Brady literally left, went to a team that no one talked about. They were completely swept under the radar, and then was like, "Hey, you guys want to go to the Super Bowl? We're going on a trip in my favorite rocket ship, zooming to the sky. Look, I got a championship." Like it's like
And
what?
trust me, when as this is coming from a Saints fan, a huge Saints fan, like I became a Saints fan more because when I got to a certain age, I started picking teams that I wanted to rep. So Auburn was like the team that I said here that I'm gonna. But it doesn't matter. I like Alabama and Auburn, but I like Auburn more, and I like to piss off Alabama fans. I like to troll them. That's just me, because you get on my nerves about my shirt because I'm wearing the shirt. I'm like, bro, y'all finna have the ugliest season in the world. Who the fuck is this coach that y'all think gonna be the next goddamn Nick Saban? Like type shit. Like y'all had y'all years. Y'all ring is over. It took y'all a long time to get back here. But that's one thing. But when it comes to Tom Brady, I was always a Drew Brees over Tom Brady fan. That's because Drew Brees, to me, he elevated the game for the Saints. He elevate players. He made everybody looks good, and it was like that OG. And then when I seen it was about this time, like he getting hurt too much. He's always injured. I'm like hurt because he never left New Orleans. He said, if I'm gonna retire, I'm gonna retire here. So I seen it and I was like, I knew it was coming. That hurt me. And then we lost Sean Payton. That hurt me even more. But sometimes you gotta realize you gotta let go of those. But
Yeah.
and then it's not just like, and like you said, it won't be just the player, but sometimes it don't even be the coach. It be the management of the upper office. like you have like the owner has the responsibility of people, the general manager, the people who's gonna scout, the people who's gonna be able to have the health code, who's gonna know what, the science behind it, all the way down to the field coach, head coach, the quarterback coach, the D lineman coach, all these defensive. Like we gotta get everybody in line before we can even look at a player. And once we look at a player, how long this player gonna last on this? How many times he got hurt? Is he gonna be able to have championship caliber? This and that and the third. It's a It's a cutthroat game.
Yeah.
Honest to say it, it's a cutthroat game. You could be the best player on the team, but once you start getting hurt and stuff, and start not producing the next few seasons, they're like, all right, well, we
We
tried.
got that.
You know, there's I forget his name. It's the brother of the dude that's dating Taylor Swift right now, where he's like, "Oh yeah, no, this game is my last game, or this season is my last season."
Travis Kelsey.
Yeah.
The one that retired. Don't ask me his name. Um, but I'm just like, yo, like this is crazy. And I talked about the same friends that I talk about anime with here at the gym. They're like, dude, you are completely right with your assumption that these next like 2 to 3 years are going to be super crucial, because a lot of people are entering free agency this year, and a whole hell of a lot more are retiring. Right. So the era that we grew up with, right, where everyone's fighting like, oh, the Patriots are the best. Like, Patriots have a higher probability of making it to the Super Bowl. Yeah, that time's gone. All these young kids, and I saw like a college football game where it was like it felt like a basketball game like when I was in high school. Like they were getting shut out and it was like 50-0. I was like, damn. So y'all just trash because 50-0, you can't even score like a 3-point, like nothing.
I ain't gonna lie. The first game my first high school game, we beat a team to 108-8.
Yeah, like at least that's something. They didn't get completely like that's they got shut out. Damn.
We,
You're like, pass me the ball. 3, 3, 3. Let me drive. But sadly it isn't the end of an era to a lot of things. Like I started reading Tower of God a while ago. Before they announced season 2 was ever being made. And I just like I don't want to continue reading it and then get to a point and then the artist goes on a hiatus because he's sick. Because I think Tower of God is actually like really well done. I think the anime is pretty much trash, but it's just because the anime took like 40 chapters, and of those 40 chapters, they removed 40% of the content. So, and then in season 2, we're gonna get that 40% of the content in the very beginning, or like sprinkled throughout. And I'm like, I don't just do it as it showed. Like I understand, like the suspense, but like if we had known from the jump specifically what that bitch Rachel said, we would have been fine. But no, someone said, oh, she wants to see the stars. She doesn't want to see the stars. She wants to be famous. Those are two different words entirely. So go screw yourself. But that's a topic for another day.
mm-hmm.
Sage, you've been kind of quiet. You good?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what to say because everything's been true. Like between passing the torches, understanding, like we said earlier, it's a brand new era. How are we gonna properly do this? Because a lot of people don't know how to just sit down and be like, yeah, I did great. My time is up. Also, understanding that not everything is just a competition. You know, we're sitting here having these debates. Like Chevy said, hey, whole time they could be sitting in the back like, oh, this is what I did. I just put out peak according to them. You do the same thing. You'll be up next week because right now I don't have much. So, let me slide this over to you.
Yeah, because everybody has a strength that somebody can't have, and you got to recognize that, and then use it to. It's not even your favor, but it's just like a good well-being. Like that's how you just gotta just be like, yo, hey, it is. Here's the game, whether you do it or not. But I highly advise you try to do this way, woo woo. So with that, I'll be like, understand there's a pattern that, you know what I'm saying, that everybody has that's different from the other people. That's what make us different. We stronger at certain things that other people ain't stronger. Like I'm more, I'm starting to push myself back because I was more of an outgoing person before I became an introvert. I don't know how I became an introvert, but I'm stopped becoming an introvert. So I started going back out and I started noticing how I was an introvert because when it just certain things that just made me just be like, nah, I'd rather be in the house. But I still want to be a sociable person. That's what I always was. So as I'm learning some of that, somebody might be more sociable than me and could teach me, yo, all you gotta do is just chill out, do this, don't look, loosen up, don't look so tight, because if you look so tight, people gonna know.
Yeah.
So it's just a way of doing. And then as the next step, it's not letting go. Like, all right, if I'm giving you the game on the field, that makes me a coach now. So guess what? I'm finna go up to the next level, which is starting to teach y'all how to be great men. Because now
Mm.
I'm at the level where the OGs was teaching the young ones that we was watching. We on a level now. And I learned this because, like I said, like I had my niece born. She was born this week, and it had me to think, like, yo, now I'm on the stage where my uncle was, where my mama and them was. So I can't be that little guy, be chilling with my parents or parents' house. Like I'm here now, but you know what I'm saying, I'm getting my shit back together.
Yeah.
Like people don't understand. Like it's like I seen this whole debacle.
Mantle that you got to uphold. You know, it's not easy.
It's not. And then that's the problem I seen that TikTok had last year where people was talking about, oh, you stay with your mom and you dad. You don't know that person's situation.
You don't.
You don't know what that person went through. You don't know what that person's downfall was. You don't know, like you, and then while you sitting there bragging about it, you don't know if your time is gonna be a point where you're gonna have to have to ask your parents for help. He might not even have parents to help you.
They say what
So
comes up must come down, but see, I ain't reached my cruising altitude, so I'm gonna keep on going up. It
exactly.
doesn't matter if I fall on my face today or tomorrow. I'm gonna get back up and I'm gonna continue to go back up. Like it, life is it's a lot. Like you can, there's I know that there's a Christian song, but I forget if it's in the Bible. But it's basically saying like, hey, our lives are so precious, right? We are like flowers in a garden. We could be here today, gone tomorrow. We could, like, if we're taken care of properly, then we can flourish and grow and reach the highest of heights. But if we don't, we'll crumble and we'll fail and, like, we'll die. But some people just don't know how to take into other people's perspective, have empathy, compassion,
Mm-hmm.
all this other shit. But it's in realizing that, hey, there's a time and a place for everything. That's when, like, there's that growth, right? Where we have all these like new stories that are coming out constantly, right? We have all these new shows that are coming out constantly. Like I'm finishing up The Boys on Amazon Prime. Well, I finished The Boys. I'm on the last episode of Gen V, and The Boys season 4 comes out in a few months. So like I probably won't watch that until like after summer. But the story of The Boys is just so wild. It's like Game of Thrones. You never know who's gonna get got next. And by the end of season 3, you're like, so this is how we're doing it now. But it's always just one thing to be prepared for. It's always one thing to like kind of look at and put into perspective. Be like, oh, is this the best thing to do? Is that the best thing to do? And like who helped pave the path, right? Was it someone that inspired you? Was it something that you saw? Was it a group of people, right? Was it a specific show? And it's just what inspires you to keep on moving forward, right? What aspirations, what desires you have to move on, move forward, and to grow. And honestly, I think that that's one of the best things, especially nowadays with all the technology we have, right? So like, I live here in New England. Sage lives a little bit further down from me, and you're in Alabama, bro. We're connecting right now in real time. You couldn't do this shit like 60 years ago over the internet. The internet didn't even exist.
Right.
So it's crazy how certain things can help us move on, move forward, and to grow. And I think at the end of the day, it's just what you choose to do with it, right? Do you choose to grow? Do you choose to get better? Do you choose to be miserable? Be, as the Brits would call it, a cunt? I mean, that's all on you. Like your choices are what you make of it, or you are what you
And
make of
see,
your choices, something like that.
right. And this is one thing I wanted to say. Internet is like was made in '95, I believe, or something like that. And
Something like that.
I'm
Yeah,
older than the internet, huh?
yeah. It's something like that. It's like 80s, 90s, like the early start of like the internet with like modem and all that other shit was right around that time. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm older than that. Like shit, like the games on that is like you could play on Atari, like for real. Like like we ain't have no internet. I don't even think we ain't have no Hulu, no Google, no YouTube, none of that. Like for real. And like the only thing that was close to any of this was Hulu chat. When people go to chats and stuff like that, and then it evolved into Black Page, and then you had MySpace. I think MySpace hit it off, and then you had Facebook, but you had to get invited to be on Facebook. Uh, then Twitter came, then Instagram, and now we and Snapchat. Now we got, and then don't forget the other apps that was around like Vine and all that other stuff. So it's just like it grew
Do it
like
for the
into
vine. I ain't
something that
gonna
it is
do it.
now.
Do it for the vine. I ain't gonna do it. Okay, I'm gonna do it.
I still
Yes.
love that.
Yo, that was like, and this is where I'm definitely a youngin. I've been outclassed. I must go back to my kitty table.
But
No, I'm just saying.
Nah,
I'm just
y'all spitting facts. I'm just like, hold on, wait a second. That was like elementary school for me. Yeah, let me sit down real quick. Let me be quiet. Let's speak what's spoken to.
like y'all don't have to get up to go to a video game store
oh my
and
god.
sit at the outside of this fucking store at 12 o'clock at fucking night just to wait for a new game to drop.
We don't, but I know the experience. Trust me, I know it.
Like,
Because my
like
PS5, I stood and fought for that. I was like, nah.
see, that's the only thing close that anybody would get. Because when it comes to a new console, understandable, you're gonna have to do that unless you order it. You can order it online, but you gotta hope that it's available, and it hopes that it come on a certain time and a certain day, and you don't get a refund. That's all. That's the price you have to pay with that. But see,
Mm.
when
And
you
the
have to
haters
get
don't
up,
steal it.
yeah, I remember when I got my PS5. I got up there at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I was the only person there. And I literally didn't get no sleep, and I had to go to work that day.
Mm.
Not only I had to go to work that day, I forgot uh GameStop didn't open until about to about 10 o'clock. I was there at
Exactly.
5. Nobody showed up to about 8 o'clock,
Mm.
and then I went in. I didn't get in. I had went in at 10 o'clock. I had to be at work at 10:30. But luckily my job was like right up the street. So what I did was went home, got the PlayStation out, hooked it up, let put the code I had bought the you had to buy the internet from
Oh yeah, the PlayStation Plus thing. Yeah.
no, not the PlayStation Plus. The like you had to buy internet at the place that I was staying at the budget
Mm.
suite. So I had it. Luckily, I already bought it. So I was like, oh, how to get? And then, but they showed me how to hook it up. I hooked it up, and then I went to work. Got off at 4, and then I don't know. I think the first game I had was the Frontier game, but I already had some game that was already PS5 already. So I think I played Miles Morales. The difference between playing 4 and 5, and then I played I played it on my new when I got back home. I have a little better TV. When I tell you playing Spider-Man 2 is like watching a movie at
It
the
is
same
though.
time.
It
Like
is.
Sandman looks so realistic. Like this, and then to think about this, we used to like brag about PS2
Oh my
graphics. Like,
god, that shit was
oh my
trash.
god, the graphics. Look at the way they can talk now. Every time a new 2K, oh my god, the face look more realistic. You can put your own face now. Oh man, this is awesome. Then then now you got the PS5 that just making us look like what the fool he's thinking.
Nah, bro, don't. Man, call me out right now.
It's like looking at a PlayStation 2 graphics from compared to PS5 is like looking at Atari graphics. Like, am I playing? If I'm playing Spider-Man on PS2 or am I playing Spider-Man on Nintendo ES right now? Like, what's the difference? Y'all making me feel bad.
You making me feel bad too. But before we finish going down memory lane, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna hop off. Chevy, we appreciate you for swinging on by, bro.
Appreciate
You're more than welcome
another
to always come
episode with them.
back.
Appreciate it.
We need another episode with the bro.
Appreciate it. Appreciate y'all having me. I'm definitely coming back.